Hello and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug, and today we're going to go over a full and comprehensive guide of the Veteran. I'm going to be going over a few different builds and a few different weapon setups with perks and blessings as we're kind of settling into a sort of nice little routine with the Veteran now, so it's at the point where I think a larger guide is viable instead of having to change it because they're not doing as many changes as quickly as they were. So let's jump straight into it. So we're going to start off with a fairly standard Veteran build, which is Executioner stance. So with this, we are picking up Long Shot, Volley Adept, the Shredder Frag Grenade, Catch a Breath, the Aura Survivalist to replenish some ammo. We are coming over here to get Demolition Stockpile because the Regenerating Grenade is far too good to pass up. As I've said in all the other guides, this talent allows us to get out of the rat race for grabbing grenades, as we're going to be snaffling ammo a lot anyway, so this just helps us along the way with that. Opening salvo for the first 10% of ammo after reload is 10% increased range critical hit chance. Executioner stance, which is your F ability. It just instantly swaps to your ranged weapon, deals 25% range damage, 25% weak spot damage, and spread and recoil are greatly reduced. This just makes you hit very, very hard for a short amount of time. We're not picking up any of the sundry talents for it. They're not massively needed because we want to be able to hit all of the rend spots down in this tree. This is built towards more of a LAS variant because we're going down here for Shock Trooper. But obviously, if you didn't want to go for a las weapon, you want to go for an autogun, you can just delete these 3 points and probably drop them in wherever you want to. I would probably say the crit boost here, the increased grenade, and Iron Will, as Iron Will is a very, very good talent. And it will help you the first few sort of dings to your toughness bar. But if you are going for a las variant, obviously just stick with Shock Trooper. Shock Trooper does not work as well as it used to. It isn't every single crit now. It is a crit and then there is an internal cooldown. So this is a very general catch-all build. You've got your Shredder Grenade for dealing with hordes and things, throwing out stacks of bleed. You've got your Survivalist to regen some ammo, and of course you've got your Executioner stance for your big damage buff. But in here we are still going for Duck and Dive, Reposticity and Onslaught, and then down the middle we're going for Tactical Awareness, Superiority Complex, Confirmed Kill, Born Leader and Rending Strikes. So this way we've basically picked up all of the big rending damage bonuses in the tree. And this is a very general catch-all build. You can use whatever weapon you want. The Recon Lasgun is still very, very good. They have nerfed it a bit, but it still does quite a lot of damage. And I'll just show you some examples. You do crit like crazy, and this is just hip firing it. If you aim down sights, you get the boost from Deadshot. But it does drain your stamina. Other guns you can go with that are still pretty decent. We'll look at the las variants at the moment. The Hellbore, Mark 1, 2 or 3, they're all quite good. Especially with Surgical and Onslaught. And for your perks, you would probably want Weak Spot Damage and Unyielding or Crit. But this is basically the other end of the spectrum from the Recon Lasgun. Aim down sights, charge up your hits. Every time you charge, with Onslaught it will charge faster. But if you wanted to go for a more methodical, kind of snipey gameplay, it's quite a fun weapon to go with. Each variant is slightly different. The Mark 1 charges faster but hits weaker. The Mark 3 charges slower but hits harder. And the Mark 2 is kind of an in-between. And some other las weapons you can go with is the Mark 7A Recon Lasgun. It does fire a lot slower than the other one, but it does hit harder. But you can feel there is a bit of a difference. So not quite as much damage, but it's more methodical. And then we've got the Cantrell series. We've got the MG12. Yeah, it's the MG12. It's one of the original guns that I used. It's a fairly decent gun. High damage, high capacity. Again, it's not a full auto, but you do quite a lot of damage with it. You don't see many people playing with these because they don't have as many bells and whistles as the Akutan. But as you can see, this is damnation difficulty. And it's doing alright, you know. I've got flak and maniac damage on it at the moment with ghost and opening salvo. But you can pretty much stick whatever you want on there. Forter is probably a good one to have, and Headhunter. So I'd probably go for Forter and Headhunter on the Kentrels. All three of them are pretty decent. They're just coming in sort of a light, medium, and heavy variant. So you've got the Mark 12 here, the Mark 9, and that's also the Mark 9. I don't think I've got an LG one built at the moment. Oh, there's an LA one. So the LA is kind of the middle. The Mark 9 is the light variant, and the Mark 12 is the heavy variant. You can use a plasma gun with this build as well. I just don't like them very much, but they are very popular at the moment. So that is the, say, catch-all build. Let me just find my correct recon gun. But if this isn't your, go-to, you prefer something a little bit tougher, we can always go on to the voice of command style. So, voice of command, it's very similar to the first one, but we're speccing heavily into the middle tree. So we're not going for long shot or volley adept anymore. We're going for close order drill for increased toughness, damage reduction, allies, and coherency. Demolition team for regeneration grenades. You have a 5% chance every time you kill an elite or a special. The crack grenade, which is my favorite. This thing will decimate bulwarks, crushers, and bosses. I would prefer to go with 3, but we don't quite have the points for it in this build. But we do take Grenade Tinkerer for more damage. This will make bosses go down even easier. Fire team for increased damage. Demolition stockpile for replenishing grenades. Obviously voice of command with duty and honor. This is a massive team buff. You're going to be giving them a lot of toughness of this, and with how we've built the Curios, which I'll show you in a second, voice command is going to be off cooldown a lot, so you can just keep buffing. And again, we're still looking at the las weapon setup, so we're coming down here into shock trooper, and this middle tree is slightly changed. We're going for tactical awareness and superiority complex like we did before. But we are grabbing confirmed kill, but we're also taking iron will and competitive urge for a 2.5% chance to increase damage and melee impact for the team. And of course rending strike, and on this side down into onslaught. We are taking out born leader, and we don't actually need bring it down as much as you think we do anymore, because with, should we say, this setup of the recon las gun that I'm using with Maniac and Carapace, you can quite happily shred bulwarks if you can get them to open their shield, and crushers if you aim for the neck. Generally you'll be using your grenades for that, but obviously you won't always have a grenade. So if needs be, you can turn your recon gun on them. I mean, he was already kind of dead, but You get my point. It's not massively ammo efficient. In fact, you will be dumping a mag into them to be able to get this done, but it can be done. So don't feel like you can't do anything against them. If you're cornered, you can just mag dump into them and you will be fine. So let's look at the weapon setup we're using for this. We are using the Assault Chainsword now. We have Flak and Maniac, and for the blessings we're using Shred and Wrath. Shred is a crit stacking bonus, and Wrath is just a increased cleave. And for the Recon Lasgun, we're going with Maniac, Carapace, Headhunter, and Infernus. You want all of these about the max you can get. I still don't have an Infernus Mark IV, which is irritating the hell out of me, but you know, that's a me problem. And as for Curios, I've been messing around with these loads. I've basically spent all of my resources on them. And this is what I've come to find is possibly one of the safer setups. So we're going for 2 of them with max health. And the perks are toughness regeneration speed, toughness and combat ability regeneration. And we're going with 1 with increased toughness with max health, combat ability regeneration, and toughness regeneration. And again, the last one is the blessing is health, and the perks are toughness, combat ability regeneration, and toughness regeneration speed. As you can see, the toughness perk is switched out on the health, on the toughness blessing one to have health instead of toughness. But if you wanted to, you could drop one of the health for another toughness mod. I just find this is the better setup for the higher difficulties. Because even though you are regenning toughness like a madman, it will get broken at some point. And if you don't have the health to cushion you, you will get absolutely dropped. And then let's look at the last setup. So all of these setups, as I said, are basically catch-all. You can use any weapon you want with these, and you can quite happily spec out of Shock Trooper if that's not your style. So you can take out these 3 points and put them wherever you like. As I said in the first part, I'd go for the crit and Grenadier, and then possibly drop it into, I don't know, the range damage node over here for just 5% flat damage. And the last build we're going to take a look at is even more into the command tree. So we're losing Shock Trooper completely, using the exact same weapons and curios, but again, you can use any weapon you want for this build, especially this build. You can use any autogun, any shotgun, anything you like. I would not suggest chasing the meta at this point. Find a gun you like, try and get some decent blessings on it, and you should be fine. So with this, it's generally the same as we always go for. Close order drill, demolition team, crack grenade, the health boost in the middle, over here for a ranged damage boost. Grenade tinkerer, fire team, toughness damage reduction, some crit, an extra grenade, demolition stockpile for replenishing grenades, voice of command, duty and honor, stamina boost, which we don't really care about, but it's the middle tree here. Then we're taking both ranged damage boost nodes here. Jumping over to the right into duck and dive, riposticity, stamina regeneration boost, onslaught, and then down to the middle tree. Tactical awareness, superiority complex, confirmed kill, iron will, competitive urge, and rending strikes. We really don't need bring it down that much anymore, because with the amount of damage we're picking up through the tree, it is a very nice talent. And if you wanted to drop 5% range damage for the increased damage, you totally can, but I don't think it's completely necessary. But with a build like this, you can literally slap on any weapon you want. Mostly because Shock Trooper, of the nerf to it, it's not an auto take anymore because it's not every single critical hit. Which, it's not great, but it does now give us far more wiggle room in what weapons we can use. So honestly, try stuff out. I've put up a video saying some of the most slept on weapons in Darktide that people don't tend to use because nobody really talks about them, but there are some really nice autoguns out there, like the Agrippina Mark 1, the Vrax Mark 3 Headhunter. What else have we got? The Columnus Mark 5. most of the Hellbore guns. Apologies, it's incredibly late while I'm recording this. The Mark 7A Recon las gun you don't get that seen very often. And any of the shotgun variants. All of them are completely usable, but not many people use them. And as for the Curios, I'll just go over them one last time. I would say this is one of the better setups for every build. So in this one, I am using the double toughness and 1 health, but you can go for double health and 1 toughness, whichever way you prefer. And the perks are always the same. Toughness, generation speed, toughness, and combat ability regeneration. One of them will have max health instead of max toughness, but they'll all have combat ability generation and toughness regeneration. So with these 3 builds, you should be able to slap on any melee weapon, any ranged weapon, and get through whatever difficulty you're trying on. I've used all 3 of these builds on Damnation and the Uric difficulties, and very little problem apart from occasionally getting a bit too trigger happy and running out of ammo. But, you know, it happens. So I hope you enjoy this, folks. I hope this is helpful. I really do. And if you've got any suggestions for maybe how else you would spec into things, please let me know. I'm always happy to try out community builds. And if you've got any suggestions for builds you'd like to see, also, give us a shout. I will happily knock something together. So if you've enjoyed, please like, subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications. It really does help us out. And until next time, take it easy, and I shall see you later.